Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10, What is New and Changing? We're so glad you could all join us today. Before we get started with today's session, I'm going to take a quick minute to go over what we do at Fierce Software. Fierce Software is a small, woman-owned, value-added reseller. We specialize in enterprise open source software, market-leading DevOps capabilities, and secure data platforms for our public sector customers. Our unique reseller perspective helps us understand your goals and technology challenges, allowing us to offer solutions from our extensive portfolio instead of just a single vendor approach. We set ourselves apart in the reseller market by consistently delivering on our core capabilities. We are an innovation broker to leading technologies, getting our customers access to the smartest people and the best technology available. We are a licensed manager, streamlining customer fulfillment and reducing administrative burdens. Our focus is on customer success, ensuring technical support through vendor-trained and certified professional services. We also provide customer enablement by delivering workshops, webinars like this one, and hands-on events to educate our customers about new features and enhance their team's capabilities. At Fierce Software, we are proud to work closely with our trusted partners to bring innovative solutions to the public sector. One of the ways we're doing that is with our new Fierce Innovation Lab. It's a secure, hands-on environment built with Red Hat, GitLab, and Dell technologies. Whether on-site or remote, it's designed to let government agencies and system integrators explore technologies like Red Hat OpenShift, OpenShift virtualization, GitLab CI/CD capabilities, GitOps, and DevSecOps workflows, all in a realistic, mission-aligned setting. Now I'd like to introduce our presenter for today's session, Rob Locke. Rob is a senior learning architect for Red Hat training and certification team in North America. Rob has been an instructor and curriculum developer, lab platform architect, and exam developer, first earning his Red Hat certified engineer in 2003. Today, he loves helping customers find the right paths along their technology journeys. If you have any questions at any point during this session, feel free to leave them in the chat, and we'll be sure to answer them during or after the presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and you can take it away, Rob.
Thanks so much, Jody. And I'll just make mention that you will see another person sort of popping around. Wes Urquhart is also a learning architect here at Red Hat with me, and he'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A windows for anyone that wants to be able to ask those questions. So you may see him answering some of that for me. And then when we have different breaks or sort of things, he'll queue up a few of the questions to pass along to have me do live with all of you. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10 introduced just a couple of weeks ago at our annual user conference, Red Hat Summit. And so our goal today is to take a look at, well, what is new? What is changing about Red Hat Enterprise Linux, particularly since we've now hit double digits in terms of major release numbers. So to understand RHEL 10, we do need to sort of look back at how we got here. There's over a quarter century of innovation that we've done in RHEL that can be broken up into three big periods of innovation. The first period was around Unix to Linux migrations, Unix parity, if you will, competing with Solaris and HPUX and others. RHEL honestly grew healthily in those early days by doing a lot of Unix to Linux migrations. And it is during this time that you see there in 2002, we introduced the very first version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which was dubbed version 2.1. Now, the next period was around the cloud and virtualization, specifically looking at the time frame where VMware was invented, OpenStack was introduced, Amazon Web Services became a household name. This was about technologies and virtualization and then getting into containers. Overall, this period was about making the platform work better with applications and workloads. Notice in our timeline here that we introduced KVM in RHEL 5.4 in 2009 as the kernel virtualization technology. And in 2014, we introduced containers in RHEL 7. Our final sort of period here of innovation as we look into the future and where we're heading, we're really trying to tackle that era of artificial intelligence, like honestly, pretty much everyone else in the technology industry right now. But I think we're uniquely positioned to really help in this space, particularly with our RHEL 10 release. And so we'll see some of that this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are. Now, RHEL is a very established and mature platform with a huge number of hardware and software vendors and cloud provider integrations. We've achieved really strong penetration in a bunch of different verticals, including telecom, banking, retail, and so on. RHEL is a really trusted platform, so that gives us a strong foundation going into RHEL 10. But we also have to contend with how the market is changing, including perennial market forces as well as new ones. We really had to focus our direction because RHEL is a large platform, and we wanted to be intentional about targeting these perennial and new market forces. One constant market force is tighter resource constraints. Infrastructure teams have less money, struggle with talent shortages, and are usually understaffed to effectively manage a platform. This has always been a cost-sensitive area. Historically, Red Hat Enterprise Linux has tackled this problem well by offering platform standardization and stability with support across your ecosystem. But we are also trying new and innovative approaches. Accelerated cloud adoption is another driving force. The cloud is not as buzzy as it used to be, especially with the rise of AI, but it's still a central issue for many of you. To address this, we're making some fundamental changes to the operating system. That's why we're introducing cloud-optimized Red Hat Enterprise Linux offerings to provide a ready-to-run experience so you can deploy faster. Cloud-optimized RHEL offerings provide a stable surface to build on without having to worry about the underlying technology, and it provides built-in tooling to create templated images for use across clouds and on-premises. Security threats are another perennial issue, but quantum computers will pose new high-risk threats. The rise of quantum computers is going to impact everything. So we've started proactively preparing our platform even before there's wider awareness across our customer base. And then finally, artificial intelligence. Unless you've been under a rock for the last couple of years, AI has taken off like crazy. In particular, generative AI is gaining serious traction, and we've got cool features coming down the pipe in RHEL 10 to make Red Hat's mark in this space and actually build a platform that makes it utilizable for our customers. So, in case you haven't already heard, RHEL 10 is packed with lots of innovative capabilities and new ways of thinking. And this afternoon, I'm excited to share how RHEL 10 can help you solve these 5 key challenges. And so this is, in essence, an agenda for the middle of our time together. So let's get started. Before we do, I have our first poll question. And so the question to you is, when was the first version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux released? Was it A, RHL 7.2 in 2001? Was it B, RHEL 2.1 in 2002? Was it C, RHEL 1.0 in 1999? Or was it D, RHL 0.9, the Halloween release in 1994? So please take a few moments to vote. What I will tell you is that three of these are real and one is pretend, just a figment of Rob's imagination, if that helps. I feel like I'm hearing the Jeopardy music in the background as we're doing Final Jeopardy. All right, let's go ahead and wrap that poll, if you would, Jody. Did we have results? Or there they are. Good. So it looks like the majority of you did get this correct. The correct answer was B, REL 2.1 in 2002. C, REL 1.0 in 1999 is the figment of Rob's imagination. The funny thing is, when we introduced Enterprise Linux in 2002, we knew nobody would ever buy a 1.0 release. And so we simply dubbed that first release 2.1. The other two are Red Hat Linux. They are valid releases for Red Hat Linux, which is in fact the precursor to Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Fedora. Our very first real release was Red Hat Linux 0.9, delivered on Halloween, October 31st in 1994. All right, so let's dive into those five key areas as we look at the changes that have happened here with Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10. Our first challenge, Linux requires a certain amount of skill, and Red Hat has been working to make RHEL easier to deploy and manage for decades. In that time, we have built a wealth of knowledge around Linux, and it's time we put that knowledge at your fingertips when you need it most. So, how are we going to address the Linux skills gap? Now, it's no secret that finding and retaining top Linux talent continues to be more and more challenging as the popularity of Linux continues to grow and support new technologies like clouds, edge devices, AI workloads, and more. There's just not enough Linux talent to go around. And this scarcity makes retention even more difficult. So we've been hard at work exploring new ways to use AI technologies in RHEL to help you simplify Linux tasks and amplify those results. In this release, we're excited to introduce Red Hat Enterprise Linux Lightspeed, which combines the decades of Red Hat's Linux knowledge and expertise with AI technologies to help inform and simplify how you build, deploy, and manage RHEL. To be more specific, the new RHEL Command Line Assistant, powered by RHEL Lightspeed, is now available in RHEL 10 and gives users the ability to interact with RHEL by simply typing an English question directly on the command line to receive answers with recommendations and actionable guidance. It really is that simple. And this gives newer Linux administrators the ability to quickly perform more complex tasks. But it also gives veteran administrators the ability to do their work even faster. So let's see how. Let's dig deeper into what this looks like. So, RHEL Lightspeed vision is to unlock the 25 years of our Linux expertise for users. We have decades of data from interacting with customers and helping them solve their problems, as well as years of build system data. Generative AI is a major advantage here. We're able to take this vast amount of data and make it consumable for users at their point of need. We want to make this knowledge more transparent and accessible to the user and provide proactive guidance as they're making decisions at build time. The build time we'll take a look at a little bit later on. We also want to help them level up their skills. So let's take a look at this command line assistant. In this example, we're trying to use journal control in RHEL, which, to be honest, is a bit of a cryptic command with an awful lot of sub-options. If you're not an experienced RHEL user and you're looking at this, it's frankly all gibberish. And that's exactly the point. It's difficult to understand and master these commands, but if you can just ask the system a question in English, it's a lot easier, right? So here we'll run the C command that stands for command line assistant there in the first red box. And we're asking it to help me troubleshoot SSHD failing to start. And it's going to return a recommendation. So we might not even know how to tell why SSHD is failing, but the system now proactively guides us on what to do and helps us. However, this still requires a human being in the loop because AI isn't foolproof. A good comparison would be a level 2 driver's assistance with a Tesla. You don't want to take your eyes off the road or your hands off the wheel, but it does make it a lot less stressful to troubleshoot unfamiliar problems. Another use of the command line assistant is as the recipient of input, having it read and interpret the output of commands or log files. For example, I could cat var log messages and pipe that into C. Look for critical errors in this log file. And it will come back and give me a list of those critical errors. With RHEL Lightspeed and the command line assistant, you can see how much easier and nicer it is to interact with RHEL, whether you're a Linux expert or someone that's coming up to speed. We see this as a key differentiator compared to any other Linux platform. Now, besides the RHEL Lightspeed enhancements, we continue to enhance our automation and management capabilities in RHEL, continuing to make it easier for customers to automate manual tasks, standardizing deployments at scale, and simplifying the day-to-day administration of their systems. New features include the RHEL 10 image builder, which now provides a similar user interface that closely matches Insight's image builder interface and feature set. We have the web console. Organizations will now be able to use the new package list sessions functionality to manage remote systems via the web console without having to install cockpit packages on those remote hosts. And another favorite feature for me on this is that the web console file browser application has now been enhanced with a text editor to provide us the ability to easily edit text files, such as text-based configuration files, from the web console file browser application. And then finally, system roles, a method for us to automate the configuration and management of activities on our systems. We have a new system role for AID, the Advanced Intrusion Detection Environment, which automates the installation configuration of it by initializing the environment and updating the AID database, including running integrity checks, enabling organizations to easily deploy and manage AID at scale in their environments. We also have the Podman system role, assisting us in automating the configuration of Podman across RHEL environments more consistently by adding support for configuring pods with Quadlet. Enhancements to the systemd system role, allowing us to be able to manage systemd user units. So lots of improvements to the automation and management of our systems, all to deal with being able to support more systems, dealing with that first challenge. Addressing our second challenge, systems management is all about delivering systems quickly and mitigating drift from that moment forward. RHEL 10 includes features that are meant to help you solve both of these problems. RHEL 10 can help address challenges associated with drift where your systems gradually deviate from your standardized settings and configurations, often due to work associated with manual troubleshooting and patching. Consistency matters, and any deviations can create problems over time that can lead to system instability, increased security risks, and more. Patching, for example, often requires substantial planning, followed by execution in a designated maintenance window, often at 2 a.m., right? During this process, it's not uncommon for most problems to be resolved right away, on, say, 90% of your systems, but some usually fail. And when this happens, you have to stop, figure out what's wrong, and resolve the problems, and then try to patch again. This can sometimes take hours, and the differences on those failed systems is what we call drift. Now, ideally, you want to minimize or contain drift. And image mode for RHEL, which is now available in RHEL 10, makes this possible by giving you the ability to lay the same gold image, which includes RHEL, across every server using container tools and technologies. And then, when you want to make updates to those systems, instead of patching them individually, you simply switch all your servers to the next identical image, just like you update your smartphone. Image mode not only helps you update your systems faster, but also gives you the ability to move to more robust tooling with CI/CD pipelines, where you can actually test images in advance. Plus, there's less maintenance because you're consistently rolling out that perfect image everywhere. And you can now sign and cryptographically verify your images so you know exactly what is on your fleet of servers. Image mode for RHEL makes this all possible. So, what is it like? Well, I'll put it how our customer explained it. He said there's pain all over the regulatory process over CVEs. If you're trying to figure out if you have a fleet of 1,000 servers and every one of those 1,000 servers is different and has drift, that's a really hard problem to solve. But if you're managing those 1,000 servers from a single image, now I just have to look at a single image and I know exactly what CVEs are patched. If I can have an image-based server, essentially, I can shrink that image down and then know exactly what's inside of it. I can harden it. I can quickly turn it around and make changes. I can roll from point A to point B, but if something fails, I can also fail back to point A. If I reboot the 1,000 servers into point B and something doesn't work, like an application fails, I can roll back. It offers a cell phone-like, iPhone-like experience with the updates and rollbacks. Now, as I said, this is a very powerful methodology change. What does it look like? Well, when we look at this diagram on the far left is what we now dub package mode. This is the traditional method of deploying and managing RHEL systems. We're all over the place using RPMs. Now, if we compare that to the middle image with image mode, where you can deploy the operating system as an image, and then you could also deploy the application as an image on top. So now I've just got two images. One image deploys to the hardware or the virtual machine, and then one image that deploys the application on top. Now we have this very modular, very tightly packaged, very controllable, and easy to manage fleet of servers that can run any application. But they're all packaged up in containers. And then the images themselves are all packaged up in containers. On the back end, application programmers can update their apps whenever they want. And system admins like me and architects can update the infrastructure whenever I want without getting in each other's way. Overall, image mode is a really efficient and powerful methodology to help you minimize drift while accelerating delivery. So, what does the process look like? Well, think of how apps roll out on a Linux server today. It's a bunch of files spread out all over the operating system. But what did containers do for us? Containers took all those files of that application and packaged them up into a single file to deploy them to the server. Our image-based methodology called image mode for RHEL is the exact same thing, but for operating system updates. You take all of the files that are in the operating system, package them up into a single image, and deploy across your fleet. Here you can see the workflow of building a RHEL image mode system, and it's quite similar to what you would expect from a standard application container. Defined like a container over there on the left, built like a container, I'll use Podman, stored in a registry like a container, my private Quay server, and then deployed using the bootc tooling on the RHEL image mode host. We can be building these images to be deployed to physical hardware, to virtual machines, to various cloud providers, whatever is appropriate for your enterprise. As you look at that container file over on the left, you see that we start from a base, which is a bootc container that Red Hat provides you. We then install some software and dependencies. We add application files, we add configuration files, we run some configuration scripts, but it's all packaged up and we end up with an image, which we can then deploy. Now, if we haven't made it clear so far, image mode for RHEL is frankly still RHEL. It's just delivered differently. That means we want to keep the management experience in line as we introduce image mode operations. Today, Insights has some basic capabilities for managing and updating image mode hosts, as well as providing typical recommendations for RHEL. Deeper integrations with Insights and other parts of our management portfolio like Satellite and Ansible are on the roadmap and being delivered today. We should also mention that Quay.io is an enterprise container registry here. So since these images are standard OCI images, we can use and host those bootc images in Quay and get access to logs, tag history, and security scanning built in. We'll see in a little bit here, Red Hat Satellite 6.17 brings image mode support to Satellite. And we have a community bootc collection, which can simplify client updates using the Ansible automation platform. Now, our third challenge, shifting left. That means making better choices before you deploy. And in RHEL 10, we're giving you more tools to get that done. Now, wouldn't it be helpful to know if a Linux package you're about to add is no longer supported, or has a newer version, or is typically installed with other packages? Of course it would. And the sooner you know this information, the easier it is to make an informed choice and potentially avoid possible problems in production. With this release, Insights Image Builder users can now make smarter decisions at build time with the new ability to proactively receive package recommendations powered by RHEL Lightspeed based on your selections. But you also have access to new Insights planning capabilities, including future roadmap and package lifecycle information to help guide those early decisions. And if you prefer to use image mode for RHEL to build your gold image, you can now use pre-hardened images to minimize setup and configuration time. You can create software bill of materials to easily prove a secure supply chain process. But we're shifting this all to the left. Shifting left with Insights. Insights is going to be even more powerful moving forward. Today, Insights provides information and advises you what to do. But moving forward, we're adding new planning and server rollout features and new methodologies that are really going to change the way architects and sysadmins plan out our fleet of servers. Let's dig a little deeper here. As I mentioned, there's an iceberg of planning that's hidden below the surface here. Architects and sysadmins are planning for weeks to execute an update in 5 minutes at 2 a.m. To prepare, they're scouring Red Hat release notes, docs.redhat.com, knowledge base articles. They're Googling, reading blogs. Although a lot of this information is spread across the Red Hat site, you, as the sysadmin or architect, are responsible for tying it all together and synthesizing it yourself. Especially as a lot of that information is about RHEL in general and not specific to what you're trying to build. This homework puts a large burden on the user to figure out what they need. So we want to package up and deliver the future roadmap information and the application lifecycle information as it applies specifically to your fleet of servers. So here's an example screenshot of what we'll now see. We mocked up a fleet of 100 servers with varying software packages installed across the systems. From this view, we can see all of the software packages and where they are at in their life cycle. For example, third from the bottom is Ruby 3.3, and they have a nice runway and lots of years of support ahead. But some servers, with the first line here, are running Node.js 16, and that's out of support. Our data tells us that a bunch of customers are running things out of support. Now, sometimes it might be on purpose, but sometimes it might be that they simply don't know. But now, by registering your entire fleet with Insights, you can monitor what's in support and what's out of support in a single place without having to log into every server and manually check the life cycle of each software package. We're empowering you to make better decisions. The graph is worth 1,000 words and probably hours of planning. But now you can strategize in just 2 minutes of looking at a graph like this. What else? Well, here's our RHEL roadmap. One of Red Hat's superpowers is all of our upstream open source contributors. We have product managers and engineers all contributing to upstream communities like Fedora and also contributing to new RHEL features. We know when we're going to deprecate hardware, get rid of a software package, or add a new feature, and that's all documented. But historically, that documentation has been really hard to find. The customer would have to go upstream and look at Fedora, or they'd have to download CentOS Stream and reverse engineer it to figure out what was coming. Going forward, we're going to capture all of this information in a digital roadmap that lets customers look at future versions of RHEL and see what's coming. They'll be able to learn about deprecations and additions to the operating system ahead of time. To make it even more useful, the roadmap will be customized to their specific RHEL fleet. Architects and sysadmins will be able to look at a quick report and see the direct impact of all their systems registered in Insights. We won't dig into this here, but we do have another shift left feature coming post RHEL 10 called release notes. Again, the idea is that we're going to package up release note information that specifically applies to your fleet of servers and show you only that information. You won't have to scour through everything to find what's relevant to you. One last shift left feature is package recommendations. With package recommendations, if you're building an image in our image builder tool in console.redhat.com, which is where you get to the Insights image builder, we can see what packages you're selecting and can recommend other relevant packages. This is just like the shopping experience on Amazon. If you're looking at tents, you'll also get recommendations for sleeping bags and camp stoves. In our example, if you install Kerberos, we might suggest the Active Directory enrollment tool because our data tells us most other people that select this package want this one too. It's a way of getting a system admin or an architect or even a developer to a place where they're not missing a package and getting frustrated when that extra capability they want isn't there. We want to be that second set of eyes for you. You can see the pattern of what we're doing here. We want to give our customers extra information when they build to improve their experience. It'll be interesting to see how customers receive this, but from the briefings, the response honestly has been phenomenal. Compliance hardening for image mode for RHEL. Again, RHEL 10 is improving your security practices within the DevSecOps framework by shifting security left and introducing an optimized process for deploying RHEL images during the build phase. This approach, combined with image mode for RHEL, enhances the security architecture and promotes immutability, thus reducing the attack surface. Users running identity management can save time and improve security by leveraging the domain join feature. I love this one. This feature, accessed through Insights and the hybrid cloud console, enables a new feature that performs discovery and connects those new systems back to your identity management domain. This provides a secure way of joining the new system to the domain while removing the need for stored credentials or keys inside your deployment images. Again, avoiding another attack surface. We're also bringing some improvements to how you run RHEL on the public cloud. From RHEL images that are optimized for the cloud to better integrations with your cloud provider CLI tools or monitoring and observability tools. We're working to make RHEL a more integrated workload in your cloud environment of choice. And so you will see offerings of RHEL for AWS, RHEL for Azure, RHEL for Google Cloud. So, been talking a little security there as we were shifting left. Let's talk about what's probably the biggest threat. We need to prepare for a threat that might be years away, but it's around the developments around quantum computing. For those of you who aren't already aware, post-quantum cryptography is a major security threat looming on the horizon and refers to the ability to protect your information after powerful quantum computers become available to hackers. The concern is not about these criminals buying quantum computers at your local Best Buy or other retailer. It's more about nation states building their own. The risk is real, and the clock is ticking. To give you some perspective, according to Forbes, a 2020 era computer would require 300 trillion years to break today's RSA 2048 encryption standard. A quantum computer will break it in 10 seconds. See, at Red Hat, we see this coming, and we've invested heavily in preparing post-quantum cryptographic libraries and algorithms in RHEL 10, with more to come that are resistant to quantum computers. So you can prepare now for future compliance mandates because they're coming. Plus, we've also simplified the FIPS module in RHEL 10 to make it easier for you to develop FIPS compliant apps on containers, VMs, and bare metal with the flip of a switch. We've also enabled the FIPS cryptographic standards to be validated separately so that going forward, any CVE fixes related to OpenSSL or crypto libraries can be performed without the need to obtain a new FIPS validation certificate. The benefit to you is that this maintains compliance and you can continue doing business with any federal organization that requires FIPS compliance. For perspective, the average time to obtain a FIPS validation certificate is currently over 300 days. So Due to the large scope of change post-quantum cryptography will be for the market, for both software and hardware, we anticipate that this will be a long hybrid transition period. We have identified four phases to this transition, starting with classical there on the left, which is where most people are today. There are no quantum resistant algorithms available in their ecosystem yet. Next is PQ capable, which is where we are with RHEL 10, giving you access to quantum resistant algorithms, but we don't have any real standards forcing this. All right. We'll then go to PQ ready and then ultimately look to retire and deprecate the classical algorithms. Another thing that internally we are doing is reinvigorating in RHEL 10 the concept of secure by design. All of our engineers that build RHEL follow our RHEL developer guide. And one of our core principles is to build secure by design. This means that when our engineers and architects are forced to make decisions, we will always choose to go with the secure default. If the customer wants to turn it off, that's fine, but we will always leave security features on by default. For example, SE Linux is always on by default. We're recommitting to this in RHEL 10, and we need to share this message loudly. There's a lot of vendors that really think of security as an afterthought, but it's never an afterthought for us. This is an opportunity for us to share our philosophy with the world and why it matters. All right, so here's the deal. There is currently no one global cryptographic authority that exists. So many countries' compliance bodies rely on the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, who are the creators of the cybersecurity framework, to publish final algorithms. It's not here yet. In the meantime, here's the guidance from many of the world's compliance bodies. And what you see here is that they're trying to encourage the start of transition as soon as possible because they see the nation's state danger. But we need to really establish this. So I have a poll question for you. Quantum computers represent a threat to our encrypted traffic. Post-quantum cryptography is a mature standard already included in FIPS for remediating that threat. Is this true or false?
While we're waiting on that poll, just a reminder, if you've got questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. We already got one good one from John about the RHCSA curriculum, so answer that one in chat, and Rob will have plenty to say about that toward the end of the session, so I won't jump ahead of that one. But yeah, we're over here answering questions and comments, so feel free to drop those in, and I'll do my best to answer or tee them up for Rob at the next break.
Thanks, Wes. All right, let's go ahead and close this poll. You've been paying attention. Most of you got this correct. The answer is false. The standards are not mature. They are not currently included in the standards body's work. We're all working towards that goal, but it's just not there yet. But with RHEL 10, we now have some algorithms at least available to you. You are PQC capable and can begin exploring them. All right. So our final sort of area is leveraging RHEL as a trusted platform for AI. So where are you building your AI workloads? RHEL continues its 30-year history of being a trusted foundation. To begin, please know that Red Hat has developed an optimized version of RHEL called RHEL AI that has been specifically built to run AI models. And it is part of our Red Hat portfolio. As the foundation, RHEL plays a crucial role in RHEL AI to leverage new advances faster with safety and trust and with the support of our vast partner ecosystem. This safety and trust that RHEL is known for is extended thanks to our new partner validation program, which accelerates the time to market for the latest AI hardware and software. Plus, we're excited to announce a new extensions repository that will list the latest community content that is trusted by Red Hat. Now, in RHEL 10 specifically, we've added the new capabilities such as image mode for streamlined deployment and updates using pre-configured container images. Additionally, confidential computing capabilities have been added that enables organizations to leverage their AI data in secure and isolated manners. Plus, RHEL 10 includes the option to integrate with a Postgres vector database for improved accuracy of generative AI. And Model Context Protocol, MCP, is planned, which is an open standard that enables AI models to seamlessly integrate with external data sources and tools. RHEL is, of course, that base for RHEL AI. As an important area of investment for our company and customers, we've developed this and put this into place. So here are those 4 areas that I was just talking about. But where are we putting those AI workloads? Organizations need to keep up with the ever-increasing speed of innovation and customer demand, and new with RHEL 10, our cloud-optimized RHEL offerings provide the leading Linux OS with built-in cloud provider-specific configurations that ensure performance, integration, and observability for your cloud-based workloads, so you can focus on initiatives that move your business forward rather than spending time on operational functions. But that isn't all. Here are a few more notable features that we'll throw out there. I mentioned earlier, Red Hat Satellite 6.17 was also announced a couple of weeks ago. This is the version that's needed to support RHEL 10, but it's also where we've introduced support for image mode and for Flatpak content. If you haven't looked at Flatpaks yet, it's a container. Again, everything's a container now. But this is focused mostly on desktop applications being deployed and is well integrated with things like the GNOME desktop environment. We've added better secure boot support, obviously IPv6 support for satellite, and then the new Insights Advisor. The idea of being able to bring that online insights advice to your disconnected environment. And so Insights Advisor for this has been made tech preview. Some other additional announcements besides the Insights Advisor for Satellite and Satellite 617, we have a new Red Hat Enterprise Linux Security Select add-on, which provides you with moderate and low CVE fixes. We've also partnered with SI5 to package RISC-V components. The extensions repository that we mentioned, defining that high-value software in a convenient location from our trust. We've streamlined and have new innovations in our partner validation program to support the AI technology. And Red Hat Enterprise Linux is now a validated software platform for the Windows subsystem for Linux. And so you can now run and execute RHEL there. For developers, we have updated to newer versions of all of these elements that you see here. However, as with every major release, not only do we add stuff, we sometimes remove stuff. So one of the areas to keep an eye on is that of supported CPUs. And so we are mandating and only supporting instruction set architecture version 3 and greater. This means that your CPUs are Haswell or greater from Intel or Excavator or greater from AMD. These are all early 2010 dates. when these CPUs were introduced. So it's only if you have some ancient hardware that you're trying to run that RHEL 10 will not support those. Um, the one set of somewhat more current processors is if you are using Atom processors, please take a closer look at the specific one you have. Some newer Atoms are not V3 compliant, they're only V2 compliant. And so we will not support those. There are other Atoms that are V3 compliant. It's just a matter of you needing to look them up. The other thing is we've punted on 32-bit multi-lib support. So no more 32-bit binaries or libraries. You won't find any packages that are of an architecture i686 being included with RHEL 10. If you do have some 32-bit applications that require those libraries and support, you'll just need to build a container and run those applications inside that container to be able to deploy them onto RHEL 10. Some other package changes. We have removed support for Xorg. So we are Wayland only with RHEL 10 as the underlying graphical environment. Because we removed Xorg, that also got rid of some other things. So if you were a big motif user or using the older GTK2 library set, those tools have also been deprecated and removed. Along those lines, VNC was another casualty of the removal of Xorg. So we no longer have a VNC server or VNC client available there. We have shifted to using the remote desktop protocol to replace remote graphical desktop activities. SCAP Workbench was a GTK2 application. This has not been rewritten to work with Wayland. So we have been forced to remove that. One good news, though, Tomcat, which some of you yelled and screamed when we removed it in RHEL 8, we heard you. We actually initially returned it in a minor release of RHEL 9, and we continue to support Tomcat in RHEL 10. On the networking front, ISC stopped supporting the ISC DHCP server. They started a new project themselves called Kia DHCP. And so we have switched in RHEL 10 over to Kia DHCP as your DHCP server. If you really love ISC DHCP, we will continue to support that in RHEL 9. We had intended, I will tell you, to remove IP tables in RHEL 10. We originally deprecated it in RHEL 8. However, we have shipped it in RHEL 10 because OpenShift continues to use some calls to it in its thing. That's being worked on. So eventually IP tables will go away. So please begin your migrations away from that. So what were the new marquee features that we've been talking about here today? Well, the first is image mode. Image mode moved from tech preview to GA, so it's a fully supported feature now in RHEL 10. We originally introduced it about a year ago with RHEL 9.4 as a tech preview. Second was the new RHEL Lightspeed command line assistant, which is a new way to get help right at the RHEL console, backed by decades of Red Hat expertise. Third, RHEL 10 brings a new initiative to help defend data against the looming threat of quantum computing with the tools you'll need to implement post-quantum standards as they are approved. And fourth is the Insights Advisor in Satellite. Customers have long asked for the ability to leverage Insights on premises, so we're bringing Advisor to your data center. Now, with that having been said, with a major new release here, I think it's worth reviewing what is our product life cycle. So with the release of RHEL 8, Red Hat updated and simplified the RHEL, what we term the 10-year life cycle. RHEL 8 will have 5 years of full support and then 5 years of maintenance support. RHEL 9 is doing the same. RHEL 10 is also going to do the same. Now, during the full support phase, define critical and important security errata advisories, and urgent and selected high priority bug fix errata advisories may be released as they become available. Other errata advisories may be delivered as appropriate. But during the maintenance phase, critical and important impact security advisors are being taken care of, but at our discretion, urgent priority bug fixes may be addressed. You will see point releases during full support, ending with 9.10 and 10.10 as we then shift into maintenance mode. This is different from what we had done with RHEL 7, where it's a little bit of wishy-washy. And one of the things you'll see is that today RHEL 7 is actually in what's termed the extended life cycle support, which is that post 10 years support, where basically you're paying us even more money to continue to support you on that release. So you really want to start considering moving yourself forward onto a later release. So our last poll question number 3, full support of Red Hat Enterprise Linux 10 will last for how long? Is it A, 3 years, B, 10 years, C, 5 years, or D, 12 plus years?
This is one last call for any questions. We did get a question here, Rob, that actually pertains to exactly the
Yeah.
poll question
Is
here.
that years
So,
from 10
yeah,
deployment? No, it's years from 10.0 delivery. So when we've announced 10.0, so as of May 20th, 2025, so well, I don't want to answer the question. Uh, the years start counting from that date, May 20th, 2025.
otherwise answered as if you deploy a RHEL 7 today, it does not mean you get 10 years of support.
Correct.
But yeah, that was a great question. And as folks
Uh-huh.
are finishing up the poll, if you've got other ones, we're nearing the end of the time here, but feel free to jump your questions into the chat Q&A, and I'll tee them up for Rob here at the very end.
Jody, go ahead and end the poll if you would. All right. Excellent. All right. So most of you got this correct. And full support is 5 years. Maintenance support is another 5 years, with extended life support lasting another 2+ years. New major versions are coming every 3 years. So that's why 3 years was an option. All right. So to sort of wrap this up, let's talk about some training resources, what we have available to you. You know, as you're all, I'm sure, familiar, skilled people are the key to successful digital transformation, as quoted here by Peter Lipka. Also, we had a study done last year that training your employees can help reduce your risk exposure. So when you go through structured training, you think, act differently. You're more structured and are better able to identify risk areas and opportunities for improvement, even outside your Red Hat environment. We offer a multiple ways to learn to fit your different learning styles. We have instructor-led training available through what we term open enrollment. These are public sessions that are on a schedule. You can look at the calendar and sign up and join one of those. They are facilitated by Red Hat certified instructors. If you have a large group within your organization and you want to do a private group delivery, we can do private on-site training that can be delivered at your location, one of our training centers, or honestly online. We can do it virtually too. We have self-paced training where you get access to our video instruction, where we have one of our instructors being recorded doing a live delivery, coupled with the same hands-on labs you would get in the normal instructor-led delivery. You can sign up for individual courses known as self-paced, or you can get the entire catalog of all of our courses through what's called the Red Hat Learning subscription, where you will have 1 year of unlimited access to all of our Red Hat online learning courses. The Red Hat Learning subscription has a few different tiers. There's trial, basic, standard, and premium. In the premium, we actually offer you a hybrid model where not only do you get access to all of the recorded content, but you can also sign up for targeted half-day instructor-led sessions, also available on an online schedule. We did introduce at Summit a RHEL 10 course called New Features in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. It premiered at Summit as part of our power training. This is a short course. It's a 2-day class where you're getting access to hands-on with the new installer. So if you want to continue installing using package mode, you can continue to do that. We introduce you to Flatpaks, which are those desktop application containers. We review containers for application services, and we get some hands-on with image mode, which is operating system containers. So, we had a t-shirt at one point, containers are Linux. Well, now I think I have to say Linux are containers. So anyway, and we do expose you to RHEL Lightspeed in that class. In fact, with this class, we have it on the open enrollment schedule coming up. We have 4 virtual training dates over these 3 months, and we'll obviously add more into September, October, and November. We also have some in-person training, so if you prefer traveling to a location and working there rather than from your own laptop or desktop, we do have some in-person trainings being scheduled in Atlanta, Denver, and Reston. Only Atlanta do I have the dates here in June. Denver and Reston will follow a little bit later in the summer. So those are the ones that are available to you. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux is one platform, but to be honest with you, it is the foundation of everything we do here at Red Hat and offering all of us unlimited possibilities. Bring me to Q&A. Do we have any other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat and such. I see the one earlier, I think Wes handled just fine. We do have the new features class that we've just talked about, but the existing RHCSA curriculum will be updated throughout the summer, and we'll do it sort of staged. So we'll update SA1, System Administration 1 first, then System Administration 2, and then the RHCSA Rapid Track course, hopefully by the end of the summer.
Just like you, Rob, I'm not seeing any other questions. So great job. I think if there's definitely some frequently asked ones we could go to, but I know we're about 5 minutes past the hour, so I think maybe we'll save those.
Yeah, and we'll pass it back to Jody to wrap us up.
Well, thank you so much, Rob, and thank you everybody for joining us today. We will be sending out an email within the next 24 hours with the recorded copy of this session that you can revisit anytime at your convenience. Fierce Software, we are proud to support your Red Hat training journey. We offer discounted training rates, and we'd be happy to provide you a quote tailored to your needs. So please feel free to reach out to us for any of your Red Hat training needs. We really appreciate you guys all spending your time with us today and look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, folks.